Happy Friday, everyone. This is Vintage Poke Openings, and thank you again for tuning into one of my videos. Let me start off by saying, if you're a fan of vintage Wizards of the Coast era PSA graded cards, holographics, first editions, this is the video for you. I got back a 20 card PSA submission that I sent in November of 2020. This massive stack of graded cards right here has been in PSA's possession for over 14 months, and I just recently got them back. With my other PSA graded videos, I've done 3 of them before. I did not know what the grades were going to be going into the video. I did look at the grades on these, and I was ecstatic with the grades that I got on these cards, and I think you'll see what I mean by the time I'm done with them. So I try to keep my videos around 15 minutes or less, so I'll spend a little bit of time on each card, but I'll try to go through them so you guys don't lose interest. All right, so the first one here is a Psa9 Moltres. I pulled this out of one of the unlimited fossil booster packs that I opened, gosh, a year and a half ago. I think this was the pack that was supposed to be heavy. It was like 21.15 grams, and then we pulled a non-hollow. So if we take a closer look at it, the centering is pretty good on the front, honestly. And it's pretty good on the back too. There is a tiny white speck there that you can see. I think that is part of the card, so maybe that detracted from it, but I was still pretty happy with this grade. Would have liked a 10, but so yeah, that was a Psa9 Moltres from the Fossil set non-hollow. The next card that we have here is another Psa9. This is a Pikachu from the Jungle set. Last year, or I should say a year and a half ago when I submitted these, I had a bunch of Pikachus that I wanted to have graded and see if I could get a PSA 10, because any Pikachu in a 10 is worth good value and it's a great collector's item. This one got a 9. I think the centering on the front is pretty close to perfect, but if you look at the back, it's hard. I'd say it's a little thinner on the right side here, maybe. But overall, really nice card too. I could almost give that a 10 too. I will say they were pretty generous with the 10s they gave me in this submission, so maybe they didn't want to give me too many, because that card looked really nice. Next, we have a first edition PSA 9 Rapidash. This one I expected to get a 9. As you can see, the centering is really heavy at the top compared to the other borders. And if you look at the back, now those are, you can see a little white nick up there. So yeah, I guess those are really the only things that detracted from it, because otherwise it's a really nice card. I had this one graded just because it was one of the few first edition cards I had. At that point, when I submitted this, I think I'd only opened one first edition pack on the channel, and it was a first edition Jungle pack. So I did get another card from that same pack graded in this submission, and I had a Pikachu and an Eevee from that pack graded in a previous submission. They all got 9s with the exception of the other card that I'm about to show you in a little bit. So this was a Black Star promo that I had bought sealed, and I opened in a video along with a first edition Japanese Expedition pack. One of my favorite promo artworks. The holofoil looks really nice. The Porygon artwork is super cool. And I'm just looking at like the centering, see if I can see any print lines on the holofoil. It doesn't look to have any print lines. And once again, this graded a 9. Small white dot there, maybe slightly off on the centering. It's a really good looking card though. Would have loved to get a 10 on this. I think those go for somewhere in the range of like $600 to $800 in a 10. So all right, my next card here is a Psa9 Erica's Clefable from the Japanese Gym Heroes set. I think I did a video a year and a half ago where I opened 2 Japanese Gym Heroes packs. I pulled this card and I pulled another holo, which you'll see in a little bit. That one got a 10. This one, as you can see, has terrible centering. The border on the left is super thin and the border on the right is super thick. The back is off too. Super thin on the right, super thick on the left. So That one pretty much, and this is with a lot of my Japanese cards, the centering just kills it. That's the one thing that really prevents it from getting the 10 is the centering. Everything else looks super nice. So that was Erica's Clefable, super cool holo from Japanese Gym Heroes. All right. Sorry, there's a hair on the back of this one. Now, this was one of the vintage Yu-Gi-Oh cards that I had graded, and this was from my childhood collection. This was not one that I pulled on the channel. It's from the Rise of Destiny set, which we have opened Rise of Destiny boosters on this channel. Just a couple of videos ago we did, actually, but I was super happy to see that this first edition holographic, The Creator, pulled a 9. This was a card that I used when I would play Yu-Gi-Oh! And kept in my childhood collection for about 20 years, almost 20 years, I should say. And the centering's pretty good, but you can see the corners are a little worn just because this was a card from my childhood. But the reason why I had this one graded is because the Creator is actually like one of the flagship cards from this set. It's actually on the pack art for Rise of Destiny. So this is an ultra rare. You can tell because it has gold lettering and holofoil. You can see there's the first edition stamp for Yu-Gi-Oh! And you can see it's RDS for Rise of Destiny. So super, super awesome card. One of my favorite artworks. And a card that I definitely will not be selling. That'll be staying in my personal collection. All right, so the next card we have here is a Japanese non-holo. This is a Typhlosion card I pulled from the first edition Expedition set on the Japanese side. This one I mainly just got graded because it was the only rare I pulled from the pack. I mean, you only get one rare, but I didn't pull a holo, and I thought it'd be cool to have this graded because the population on it was so low. This is one of the few that have been graded by PSA. I was hoping for it to get a 10, but I suppose maybe the centering was off. I don't know as much about like how they grade centering on these types of Japanese cards. I mean, to the naked eye, it looks pretty good. But I'm sure it must have been off somewhere. Or maybe there was some edge wear that I just didn't see. And this next card is another vintage Yu-Gi-Oh card that I had created. And this actually ended up being the worst graded card from the set. But this was a PSA 6 Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon from the Metal Raiders set. If you know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh, you know that was the second set ever released after Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon. And I just always loved the artwork on this card. The reason why I got it 6 is because this is a card from my childhood collection. And if you look, I think it's that corner, you can see it's pretty worn. They're a little bit too... Not too bad though. I mean, I was kind of expecting more like a 7 or an 8 on this, but I'll take it. I mean, I'm not going to sell this. This is just for my personal enjoyment, so I don't really care. I'm going to end up getting all of my vintage Yu-Gi-Oh cards graded at some point here. All right, and now this one was a PSA 8 holographic Meowth Black Star promo. I opened this on the channel about a year and a half ago as well. I don't remember exactly what video it was in, but this is just such a cool artwork. And in a 10, if this had graded a 10, I think this card goes for like over $1,000. So not surprised I didn't get a 10 there. Pretty good centering on the front. I don't really see any print lines. Let me turn it around here. Okay, the centering on the back isn't the greatest, and you can see there's a white dot there. I probably would have given it a 9 rather than 8, but still a very, very cool card. Now, soon enough here, we're going to be getting into the 10s. I actually had 8 PSA 10s out of this 20 card submission, so I'm really excited to show you guys what those look like. Now, this was another card that I felt like should have probably gotten one notch higher in terms of its grading, and this was a non-holographic rare Espeon from Neo Discovery. I had this one graded because Espeon is always a fan favorite, and I thought it was a really cool artwork, and I love Neo sets. They're so expensive, I don't really buy them that often, but I love opening them, and I love appreciating the artwork. Yeah, the centering looks really nice on the front. On the back, it's pretty good too. Oh, looks like there's a little bit of whitening there. I don't know. Like I said, I would have given this a 9. An 8 I think is a little bit harsh, but Anyway, still a very, very cool card. And then I believe this is the last 9 of the bunch. This is a non-holo Ditto that I had. You know, I'm not even a huge fan of this Ditto card, to be honest, because I pulled it so many times, but I had it graded because I thought it had a legitimate chance at a PSA 10. I mean, as you can see, the centering on the front is really, really nice. And if we check out the back, no whitening that I can see. Really nice centering in the back. So not really sure why that one got a 9. Maybe it was just slightly off on the centering somewhere, but kind of probably wouldn't have had that graded if I thought it had a decent chance to get a 10, but clearly it didn't. And then, no, actually, I think this is my last 9 from the batch. So this is another one of my vintage Yu-Gi-Oh cards for my childhood collection. I was blown away that it graded a 9 because, as you can see, I pulled this early on in my Yu-Gi-Oh collecting career. Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon card 62. This is the base set for the Yu-Gi-Oh series. It would be the equivalent to the base set on the Pokemon side. And this is one of the best super rares for sure. Mystical Elf, Yugi played it all the time in the anime. So yeah, it's got a 9. Very nice centering on the front. And if you look in the back, centering's a little bit off in the back, and I think the corners are just a little bit worn because, once again, this was from my childhood collection. So that one is going into my personal collection. And now the rest of these cards here, these are all going to be PSA 10. So let's take a look at these. All right, so the first 10 we have here is a first edition rare non-holo Mr. Mime. Now you can just see, if you look at this, one glance you can tell the centering is not perfect on the front. So I was absolutely shocked that they gave this a 10. If you look at the back, pretty good centering on the back, and I really don't see any whitening, but that centering on the front is brutal. So I was really surprised they gave it a 10. But this was the rare card that I pulled out of that first edition Jungle Pack, one of the only first edition packs I've opened on this channel. One of, I think, 4 we've done so far. Now this is going to be one of 2. I think the next one should also be Pikachu. Yep. So I actually got 2 PSA 10 base set Pikachus here. Or excuse me, not base set 2 I meant to say. But yeah, I had these graded just because they're Pikachu, and I thought they had decent chances of getting a 10, and they both did. If you look at them, you can see that the centering's really nice, no whitening. So super fortunate to get 2 PSA 10 Pikachus there from the base set 2. Not quite as rare or valuable as base set, but still very cool. This was a gym trainer that I had graded. I like to get the trainer cards for the gym leaders graded just because they're super, super cool, nostalgic artworks. This is the non-holo Lieutenant Surge Unlimited. And as you can see, beautiful centering on the front. We switch to the back, same thing there. Really nice centering, no whitening. So we nailed the Gem Mint 10 on that. All right, so moving along here. The next one we have is a base set non-holo Polywhirl. This was another one I submitted just because I thought it had a legitimate chance at getting a 10. And I just love having Gem Mint 10s in my collection, especially when it comes to base set. I've got a base set Dratini in my collection that's also a PSA 10. And Polywhirl and Dratini are 2 of my more liked Pokemon from the first generation. So really nice centering on the back, no whitening, as you can see. Very cool, nostalgic Polywhirl artwork. For those of you who don't know, Polywhirl and Poliwrath were actually very, very big Pokemon in the original manga on the Japanese side before Pokemon became popular in America. It was a very, very popular card in Pokemon. So, and then here we have a PSA 10 Gem Mint Raichu holographic card from the Fossil set. Once again, this is a Japanese card. I was very surprised that this got a 10 considering the centering on the front is not very good. I guess it's not terrible, but it's not great. So this was fortunate, but the centering on the back was actually spot on, or very close to spot on. So kind of neat there. Raichu, we have a couple Pikachus in the batch, and then we've got our evolved Raichu. We've got another holographic Japanese card in this submission. This is also from Gym Heroes, holographic Misty's Tentacruel. This pulled a 10, which also surprised me because the centering is not perfect on the front. But I guess close enough for whoever graded this. And then if we look at the back side, pretty good centering on the back side. And with these Japanese cards, they're just in great condition. Rarely ever any print lines, rarely ever any whitening. It's always just the centering that gets you. And then my absolute favorite card, and probably the most valuable from this submission, is a Gem Mint holographic Koga trainer card from the Gym Challenge set. I did a little bit of research on this card, and if my memory serves correct, the population for this is only a 9 in Unlimited. So I think there's only 9 PSA 10 holographic Koga trainer cards, which means if you're trying to complete the Unlimited Gym Challenge set, there's only 9 people that can complete it, and this is one of the cards that can do it. So don't quote me on that. It might have been a little greater than 9. I don't know why that number is sticking in my head, but I know it's a very low population card, and the recent PSA sales were in the range of $400 to $500. So super, super cool card there, and my favorite from this submission. So once again, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I know that was a little bit longer video, but I had a lot of graded cards to go through, and I always enjoy sharing those with you folks, especially since I'm sure many of you watched me open them on the channel about a year and a half ago. So I've got a batch of about 30 holographic Wizards of the Coast cards that I need to send to PSA, but I'm waiting till they reopen their economy submissions, whenever that may be. Probably it'll be months before they do that. But if you enjoyed the video today, if you enjoyed my content, please leave a like, comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you can. I'm approaching 500 subscribers, and I'd really love to hit that milestone, so anything you guys can do to help is greatly appreciated. Have a great day.